Check Yeat video Hello Yassine. What did he post? Yeat is embarrassing rappers? What did he do? Allegedly, Yeat is embarrassing rappers. Let's see what Hello Yassine got to say.
What's poppin', y'all? Today we're gonna talk about Yeat and his album sales. There's been mixed react.
Oh, I see where this is gonna go. Basically how he just came up in the industry, sold 34K pretty organically, whereas a lot of these rappers are trying to do all these marketing schemes and I don't know, just crazy campaigns and still just flop like shit.
Actions from people who aren't fans of him saying that his sales for the first week of his album Two Alive, 34,000, and pretty much damn near all of it came from streaming. I honestly, keep it a buck, when I saw this dude's sales, I thought he was gonna drop maybe 10K max. That was my prediction. I thought it was gonna be 10K, but he's hit
Bob's apparently in a bubble, right? For saying 30K. Nah, I fuck what you seen.
3 times that. Some people are saying, oh, this is low numbers for him, he should have done more. I don't think that's the case. For someone this small, and while his fans are very active, he's still a small artist. He doesn't have a single mainstream Hot 100 hit. But after the first day and I saw the Spotify streams of what was happening, I realized, oh my God, this guy might actually sell above 25K. Because his streams were doing way better than Nardo Wick's, whose album sales ended up being 20 something.
And I believe Yassine exposed, I'm not sure if he ended up making a video on it, but we talked about how Nardo Wick potentially like finesse something on the back end.
K first week, and Nardo Wick had a certified hit on the Billboard Hot 100, top 40 even, during that same week, which Yeat does not have. When it comes to this guy, I think Yeat is the representation of if a couple of people were in a lab in 2020 and they said, how are we gonna make the next...
Hold up, did you say Yeat Poppin' is on Billboard? Wait, let's go to chart data real quick. That's who would know. They usually post all the great data for us. Yeat earned his first ever entry on the Hot 100 this week with Poppin'. I'm just adding context because somebody said number 91 with Poppin'. Poppin' was the first song on the album, so that makes sense. A lot of times that happens because if you just press play on the album. But yo, this shit lit. Yeat single on Billboard. That's crazy though. Did they give any more specifics? Billboard Hot 100 number 91. Poppin'. Yeat was poppin'. All right, let's get back to Yassine though.
Rap guy for the younger audience, because I'm gonna keep it real, I do not think Yeat's got fans that are above the age of 22, maybe 21. Well, I wouldn't say
hey man, I'm literally 25 and I'm a Yeat fan.
He doesn't have fans above that age, but the overwhelming majority of his fans are either preteens, teenagers, or potentially in college. That's just what I see. And
then again, no hate, because Yassine's the boy, but I think that goes for literally like every single rapper, unless they've been in the game since, 2010s or something like that, just because younger people have the most time to be the most dedicated fans. Whereas like when you get older, you kind of stick to your, that's what like the old head mentality is. You stop trying new things. You just stick to the rappers that you've been listening to because, you got a family, you got kids, you got a job. Like you can't be worrying about all of the other creative and fun shit. That's why I like being a YouTuber, because I have the time to do this, whereas a lot of people my age do not.
And The Weeknd was playing his music, or that's what it looked like. There was a video of his music being played at The Weeknd's birthday party. The reason for that being Zach Bia was at that birthday party and he signed.
Oh no. Exposed.
Signed Yeat. So he was probably just playing Yeat's music. Although it's great promo for the same week as album drops that it looks like, yo, even The Weeknd is bumping with this dude. And that's likely why Drake found out about who he is anyway. But the reason why I say it's kind of like he was built in a lab, although I don't believe he was built in a lab, I think he masterminded this himself, and I was having this conversation with the homie, is because he kind of took the elements of how Playboi Carti has a fan base.
What do I keep saying? I said Yeat is the new Playboi Carti. In fact, all of his fans are basically Carti fans. And he just got that like mysterious vibe to him, as well as the memes, the lingo. Shit.
And he took a different sound, I'm gonna keep it real, when it comes to production, but he has this look. He's like, oh, let me get something to distinguish myself looks wise. He wears that balaclava or whatever, and the
turban
scarf. People call it a turban, and
okay.
That ain't no damn turban. It's just a scarf that he wears around. And then on top of that, he creates this retard speak lingo, which is something that most rappers that have.
What did he say? They're selling chocolate.
Have diehard fan bases like this do. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna create a way that I'm speaking. And then he's very in and out of social media. Right now, I think he's going to be less and less active on social media than he ever was prior to the past 6 months. So he's got...
I agree. I think Yeat's been super active with dropping music, social media, like giving hints here and there. But I think very soon he is going to dip. He's going to be like Carti. He's going to go into like mystery mode because he's got the fan base on lock. But then again, I feel like he's utilized being so active, and that's why he blew past so Fago and a lot of the underground rappers.
Got all these elements together on top of the music. And I'm going to keep it real. This Yeat dude, I don't think I've ever seen anything like him when it comes to hype since Lil Pump. And I think it's more impressive than Lil Pump because Lil Pump had antics, at least. So a lot of people...
Whereas Yeat is completely based off the music, as well as some of like the memes. It's memes, but yeah. I think it's because TikTok, as opposed to Instagram being big, TikTok made the sounds pop off, like Twisty P and then J Brad. They made it like... It basically translates right into streams as opposed to people just having clout and a fan base on their antics.
People were fans of Lil Pump or found out about Lil Pump through his antics. And then they went to his music. But the primary driving force of why people were into Lil Pump was not his amazing music. But for Yeat, that's what drew people to him. It was the music. So a lot of people will always complain and say, damn, you know, these artists, they're popping because they're killers. And people just listen to their music because they believe it, or they're popping because they're doing antics, which hasn't been the case for a couple of years. Those artists have long but faded away. However, when we have an artist, rapper, who gets on through consistency and music, everyone that's following this guy, it's because of his music. He doesn't do any antics. He released consistently. People mess with the music. Does that mean you gotta like it? No. Me personally, it's just not for me. Like I said before, I can understand the appeal that his music has, but I'm a grown man. I'm not 18, 19 anymore. I just can't listen to music like this.
Hello, Yassine. This is Baba Lamb.
It just does nothing for me. It's as if it's kind of going in one ear, out the other, and it just feels like wasted time. So it's not for me, I understand that, but I get the appeal, that's for certain. There's certain music that not only would I say it's not for me, I would say it's trash. I don't get the appeal at all. And then one thing that actually shocked me was, I think it's probably a homie of this dude Yeat named Con. He was tweeting
Can
on Twitter. Obviously, where the hell else would you be tweeting? And he said a couple of things which ended up being true, and I thought it was crazy. And he said, I be forgetting 45% of our fan base just found out about underground artists.
Damn, these are the tweets about me. Even though I said Yeat was gonna sell 30K.
And don't know how strong underground cult fan bases be. But then again, MFs be listening to stuff like NLE Choppa. So they just used to flops and inflated paid label streams. And I gave some criticism to this dude, Con. And I was like, well, I mean, NLE Choppa's got hits.
Con.
He's got multiple gold records. He's got, I think, multiple platinum records. He's been in the game for
But yo, I think what he's saying is that technically Yeat outsold NLE Choppa. I think he sold like 26K first week, whereas Yeat did 34. And like everybody knows, or just in general, like NLE Choppa got a bigger name than Yeat, at least like following wise. but Yeat just, all his fans fuck with him that heavy.
For a while, yet this dude Yeat outsold him first week. NLE Choppa sold 22K. Yeat sold 34K. We can't blame Yeat because, and this was one thing that I think people are saying, is that he's getting a larger push now because he's on Interscope. I don't think they really pushed this album. It wasn't on Rap Caviar. It wasn't on many of these big playlists.
Right.
I think Interscope or Geffen, wherever he signed, they decided to see, let's see this guy's fans. Let's let them rock out, see what numbers they bring back on his own with some slight promotion, and then we can figure out where to go from there and push.
That's a good point, actually. I feel like with what Yassine just said, the label probably knew that no matter what Yeat sold, it would not be a flop just because he's an underground artist. And like, even if he sold 10, 15, 20K, nobody could say L because he's like one of the newest in the game, but still, like, that's 10, 20K was pretty much guaranteed, but that's still solid numbers, especially compared to like NLE Choppa, who did 26K. So they kind of just chill on the promotion. However, next album, that's when they got to kick in the gear. They gauged how big Yeat actually was completely organically. Then they put the songs on the next album on the Rap Caviar Spotify playlist. Then they can boost it up to like 50, 60K instead of just trying to blow him out of the water. Pause the first album, and then I don't know, like, he just grows too big for his actual fan base. They're letting it grow slowly, like a nice relationship with your new girl. And then it becomes deeper. You get a deeper relationship with the cult-like fans instead of, again, getting too big, like getting a song too big, way bigger than your personal brand.
Push forward on the next project. So I don't think this album got that much push. These are astounding numbers to get without a hit song. I think NLE Choppa sold 36K maybe his first album. And this also gets me to realize that what that Con dude said is probably right. A lot of these rappers are inflating streams somehow, because let's take, for instance, 42 Doug. I think he sold around 32K.
There's no way unless he had like a Lil Baby feature on there, which he probably did.
I don't think 42 Doug is anywhere near as hot when it comes to fans as Yeat. Do I think he's hot in the industry? Yes, absolutely. I think he's had a hit, but there are certain artists that are within the industry that I don't feel like they actually have fans like that are as engaged as Yeat fans. And
they probably get like playlisting, which guarantees a certain amount of streams, whereas Yeat's all like organic. They might sell more first week, but Yeat probably made like so much profit for his label because they didn't have to put forth so much money in the advance or like the marketing campaign.
I don't take them being engaged as them liking Instagram photos. I don't consider that engagement. I consider engagement when that is one form of engagement, but I consider the important metric of engagement not only his streams, but people talking about his music on their own, whether it's on their Twitter, and then you see tweets doing thousands, if not tens of thousands of likes about Yeat's music. That's something entirely different. And it also brings us back to the point that a lot of these artists have got absolutely no excuse now for them to sell pitiful numbers. If you're doing 5K like Smoke Perp, it's your fault, because this dude Yeat built up his fan base and they mess with him for the music. He's got no antics.
And it's not even like on the album that he had any big features. Like, he had the Lil Uzi cosign, the Drake cosign, which are speculated to be on the deluxe. But what did he get? He got Gunna and Young Thug. Okay, Gunna actually gets a lot of streams, especially because DS Forever, did so well, even beat out The Weeknd. But Young Thug, that was solid too. So maybe I'm wrong, but it's not like he got powerhouses like big artists like Uzi, who be selling 300K for Eternal Take, and then Drake, who like literally sold 1 mil with views.
Really, sure, he's got an image and a brand, but that's not carrying it. So if he's able to sell 34K and build up this amount of hype, if you're a mainstream artist that's signed to a label and you've had hits and you can't match his numbers that he did on this album, then what are we supposed to say? You just weren't able to captivate a wide audience of people with your music, or a niche audience that's crazy active, because I think most of these streams probably came from people repeatedly listening to this album throughout the week.
Facts.
If you are a Yeat fan, let me know in the
Somebody just said something interesting. Who was it? Quay 4X said artists that come from the underground typically have a stronger fan base than people who didn't. Look at Uzi, Carti, X, and Juice. That is a fact. I think what that has to do with is they have a fan base for them, not necessarily just a song. Because when you're in the underground for say 3 months, 6 months, year, because Yeat's been rapping since like what, 2016, you actually get fans, whereas a lot of these other people who are industry, say like 42 Doug, and like maybe he's not an industry plant, but low-key Lil Baby signed him and that's the only reason he's on. Whereas the underground, like, you're not predicated upon anybody really. Like, you're not, I don't know, you don't get the fans directly from another person. Say like every 42 Doug fan is just a Lil Baby fan, but they're just trying to, you know, be different.
in the comments, were you listening to this album multiple times during the week, or did you just check it out once or twice and you were like, I'm good? Because I think it's definitely the latter. I do think YoungBoy fans are in that same breath. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say about this Yeat dude. Do I think he's going to last? I think that's another conversation we can have. I don't know. His music, he drops a lot of music. I think he's going to chill out on dropping music, but I don't really see him being a star or a superstar at all. His music is just way too niche. Let's just look at Playboi Carti, for instance. Playboi Carti is way bigger than this Yeat dude. And Playboi Carti doesn't really have Hot 100 hits since, let's say, Die Lit era. He had Magnolia. But ever since then, Playboi Carti's not a mainstream star. He's a star in rap, sure. He's got a crazy fan base, absolutely. But when it comes to that mainstream level, I don't see even Playboi Carti there. And it's because of the type of the music. For example, Magnolia can appeal to a lot more people than, I don't know, Rockstar Made or whatever the hell else was on A Whole Lot of Red. And we even saw it when Playboi Carti had a song with Drake. And that didn't really stay on the charts for long. Well, you could say it free-falled off the charts. So that's why I think this Yeat dude, what will happen to him? Maybe people will get tired of it being repetitive and say, hey, this is just another DaBaby. He's just making the same song over and over, which I don't get, because the dude's kind of, while he is a student, a disciple of Young Thug and more than likely Future as well, he's kind of morphed it into his own style. So for people to say, oh, you have your own style and you're doing your own style a lot, it's kind of like telling an NBA player, like, yo, you just do the fadeaway too much. Like, stop doing that. Start trying to, I don't know, do some other moves. It's like, yo, if it's working, why stop? If people like that, why stop? But that's pretty much what I got to say. I don't see him really having longevity in terms of 5 years. Will he be one of the hottest things? I don't believe so. But I could be proven wrong. He could change up. Who knows? But let me know what y'all think in the comments.
So I think that Yeat will become a Gunna size. I think he'll end up selling, like, say, at least 100K by the time he's over rap, or like by the time he's peaked. Carti just sold 100K. So that is a fair comparison. Although on Twitter or the internet, it seems like Carti is larger than life because the people he affiliates with, Kanye. Also, we are in a bubble somewhat. Like, we are Carti fans here. We fuck with Carti. The Carti fans, like, think he, like, a lot of people don't fuck with Carti. I agree with Yassine. I know some people were hating in the chat. I don't think Carti is a mainstream star. He is a star in rap for sure. He's selling 100K. He's selling more than a lot of these people, but I wouldn't say he's like, you know, he's not on the radio type shit. I think that's what Yassine meant. So yeah, that would be a mainstream star to me. Now, will Yeat? I think Yeat's music actually appeals to more people than Playboi Carti's newer shit, because Carti's like going straight, like, he does wild shit. Bro is turning into a dark clown. Bro does almost damn near punk music. Whereas Yeat is like, it's clearly hip hop rap. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he's getting that Drake feature. Like, we'll see what happens with that, because we know what happens with Drake features. It could really blow the fuck up if that ends up charting. higher than say what Pain 1993 did. I don't know what that ended up doing. I think it was like top 10 to be honest, but it didn't stay there for long, which is what Yassine said. Something interesting that he brought up, Can. I want to see what Can's Way Too Geeked album does, because I don't think his last album charted, but I don't think Can is as big as Yeat. I don't think it really matters. Like, even if it sells less than 5K, 10K first week, like, it's still gonna be probably good just because I fuck with Can's music. But I don't know, man. Can came from underground as well, and he got a decent following, so we'll see what he does. I don't think he's as mainstream as Yeat is though. Like Yeat is getting there. Like he's gonna be, I think in 5 years, Yassine was saying he's not gonna be like that big. I think he'll be chilling. I think he'll be chilling because I think he's gonna slow down his release process. He's gonna chill off social media. He might post a couple stories here and there, but it's gonna be very reminiscent of Playboi Carti. I would expect Carti to start fucking with Yeat at some point as well. Maybe not on a feature or anything, but I feel like, you know, Carti probably sees Yeat's fan base as like, damn, like this dude knows how to work social media and whatnot. Carti might become a mainstream star if he go on tour with Ye and drop that collab tape. Well, that's what we thought about Drake too after he dropped Pain 1993. We're like, yo, Carti's going mainstream. But look what happened. Either the Drake feature or cosign just don't work like that. It's not the stimmy pack like it was, or like we thought it was going to be. But then again, like Lil Durk got the stimmy pack from Drake, and now look at him. He's the hottest in the streets, or one of them. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future, that is. Yeat and Can need to make up. I think they're fine now. They'll figure it out. I think they've solved their issues. It was just a misunderstanding. Can doing 15 to 20K on an EP watch. I don't know if Can is half the size or even greater than Yeat, to be honest, bro. I'm sorry, that just ain't happening. Plus, Yeat is signed to Interscope, so he's getting that type of backing. Can's still somewhat independent. He's doing like a distro deal type shit with Empire. So, and I don't know if Can has the same mainstream appeal as Yeat, but ultimately, I don't even think it matters really about your sound. It's just like, will your fans ride for you? Because Carti does not make music for the mainstream, but somehow he's still got 100K first week. And that equates to multiply by 1,500 for streams. That's a fuck ton, okay? Now, what will he sell on Narcissist or the next album, whatever it happens to be? If he goes on tour with Ye, then he's gonna get way more hype because Ye be sounding like 300K. I don't know if Carti, it's gonna be hard for Carti to get bigger though, just because of how niche his music is, in my opinion. Like, I don't see many more people who don't know about Playboi Carti liking his newer shit. And that's no diss on Carti. Carti do 1 to 30. I could see that. Do you think mainstream artists fall off quickly due to not having a real fan base? I don't think it's necessarily being mainstream that's the problem. It's like, how fast did you go mainstream? And that's why Yeat killed it, because he's not even mainstream yet. And what Yassine was talking about was like, they didn't get his first album, like they didn't get Too Alive put on Rap Caviar, because they probably were being weary that they don't want him to blow up too fast and ruin the fan base or dilute it with like mainstream fans who are listening to Rap Caviar, because that's like the biggest rap playlist on Spotify. Like, you'll just get like casuals, whereas right now, like, only the realists were listening to the Too Alive. You don't want to become a Sheck West where Mo Bamba like blew up, where people like, even Bella knew that song. Like, everybody was at every tailgate. I remember being on the malls and shit, and that would come on, everybody would freak out. And then after Mo Bamba like died out because it was just overplayed, like nobody really cared about Sheck West anymore. But maybe that's Sofago's strategy, like to just chill a little bit, let Yeat's fan base or hype die out a little bit, so that Sofago can like come in out of nowhere and just smack everybody in the face like, yo, I'm still here too. And maybe he just didn't want his fan base to get too big or like too diluted because of Travis Scott. But Travis Scott got a pretty diehard fan base as well, especially after, you know, what happened with Astrofest. So maybe that was a good thing to let, well, obviously it's not a good thing, but I mean, like, in the long run, maybe for his fan base to like let all the casuals leave that think that it's completely his fault. But obviously we do not want people passing away. You know what I'm saying? If Yeat stops dropping for like a year, he runs the risk of falling off. He can't let up with the music. You would think that now, but we just gotta see like how people digest Two Alive. Like if people are still listening to that shit like all the time and still continuing to do the memes, and if Yeat somehow maintains the speculation just like Carti did with Whole Lotta Red. Like remember, Dial It dropped 2018 and then Whole Lotta Red he teased in 2019. So very similarly, Carti dropped Whole Lotta Red 2020. Already 2021 he was starting to tease Narcissist. However, for the next 2 years or 1 year, basically 2 years, Carti was still like teasing it to make it seem like it was dropping, letting us know like 24 hours or whatever, but it really just meant, y'all remember that Instagram post, the caption 24 hours, it said less than actually, which meant, and it was a Friday, so people were like, oh, Whole Lotta Red dropping like tomorrow, what the fuck? But really he just meant 24 hours in the studio, like he didn't sleep or some shit, or he slept in the studio. So if Yeat continues to do shit like that, he can wait a year, 2, 3 years to drop another album, but you just gotta keep the mystery alive of some sort, you know? You haven't listened to Whole Lotta Red recently? I still listen to songs from there like Jump Out the House, No Sleep, Teen X, that shit crazy. But I've been listening to Two Alive basically all day, every day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeat gotta drop late 2022 for sure. You think he's gonna drop another album this year? Cause he's in the process of blowing up even though he's signed and basically mainstream now? Shit, he could, but it's gonna be hard. He hasn't even dropped the deluxe of Two Alive. It's gonna be hard to relive the hype so soon or recreate it. You know what I mean? Because he got the Uzi feature, and like the difference between where Yeat was, like no one thought he was gonna get like an Uzi and Drake feature for the album, or at least months ago they didn't. The speculation was there, but like he was here, then it was like Drake feature and Uzi feature, whereas people are already expecting like big features next album or even on the deluxe. So like how much bigger can you get than Drake? So like the hype is just not, it's gonna be hard to recreate. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it just depends on how strong the fan base is. Yeah, nah, je nah.